Okay, welcome back to another episode of the MenswearStyle Podcast. I'm joined by, the co-founder of PAZ Clothing, Jose Abreu. How are we doing today, Jose?
Very good. Thank you so much for the invitation. It's a great pleasure to be with you guys.
Well, it's great to have you on, Jose, but for the uninitiated, perhaps you can talk to us a little bit about PAZ Clothing and how you got it off the ground.
We started this project it's me and Andre, my business partner. We started this project in 2011. Our main idea at that time was to distribute some brands, in fact, here in Portugal. But the economy was very low, and we had some contacts in some factories nearby, and we were both passionate about clothing, so we started putting a collection together to see, I mean, to see how it would look,
And how do you go
And
about starting to put a collection together? Are you designers?
we don't have a design background, so we've been helped by a friend who is a designer, but mainly with production and in the factories. So we started designing some pieces we like. And we went to the factories and we started developing some prototypes over there. And so the main collection, the first collection was supposed to be a summer collection, didn't happen. So because it was like slow and we were still testing the prototypes and stuff. And but then we managed to put a small collection of uh, around 30 pieces together. And so we the first show we did was in New York, man woman show, and we started with the winter collection here.
Okay, so Jose, I'm just going to throw up a couple of pictures of the brand just that I pulled from the website. Perhaps you can just, for those that can't see on the YouTube that will be listening to the podcast, you can maybe just describe the designs to us or the philosophy of the brand. What can people expect from the brand when they log onto the site to see the clothes?
In fact, in terms of design, La Paz is pretty standard and pretty classic, I would say. But our main work is to explore and then do a lot I don't know. We go to the is a lot about fabrics and textures. You know, that's our main. How would I describe this? Most of the work we do is probably trying to find new mixes, new textures, new fabrics, and so and I think it reflects a lot in our collection. Of course, we have a basic part of it, like the t-shirts and sweatshirts, but I think it's very important to touch the materials, in fact, because that's where we invest most of our time and research.
And when you started out putting the collection together, what in the back of your mind, what did you want the brand to look like? Were you pulling inspiration from your childhood, from your friends, from
Yeah,
films?
I mean, there's so many amazing brands in the world, in the market, that we wanted to have like wanted we really wanted to do a Portuguese brand, you know. And our main inspiration is the Atlantic and the sea, but that's for a specific reason. Is because me and Andre, we surf since we are kids, and we live outdoor a lot. And there's this people wears this specific clothing, like the flannel shirts, the workwear, very linked, of course, to the fishing, but also to the sailing and all this atmosphere you live, and if you live by the ocean as we do. So we,
Right.
we wanted to translate that a little bit to the market. Of
And so
course,
Sorry, carry on. Sorry.
No, go for it.
So I was just going to go. What's the? I mean, when people start off a brand, typically they start with quite a limited run, or maybe a very fine selection, 2 or 3 different garments, just to test the marketplace. You've launched about 30 garments. So was it always the idea to be quite ambitious with this from the start?
Not really, but we started We started from the basis of some pieces we liked, and we were working mainly around vintage pieces, and some from our own family wardrobes, from our grandparents and stuff, and so we wanted to give like a contemporary touch to them. So we started by searching for the fabrics, but then we found out that we had a very ambitious collection of fabrics. So when we started turning them into specific pieces, we managed to have like a slightly bigger collection than we were supposed to at the beginning, and in fact it went well because it was a very for a first collection was very versatile, and we got some good customers with, and we didn't have much money, of course. It was all mostly Andre. He had some money on the side.
Good old
and
Andrea.
yeah, and so we started from next to zero, and with the travelings to New York, Paris, London, which were the shows we did on the first season. But it went really well. We got some nice customers from the beginning, and it helped us to keep going until now.
It sounds like a very nostalgic opening to the brand. You're taking clothes that your grandfather might have worn, taking those to the factory and saying, I really like the fabric and the texture of this. Let's work with
Yeah,
this and do a line of something. Were those the conversations you were having with the factories?
yeah, pretty much. But we were working two different fronts. One was the factory, the fabric factories, yeah. And so we went to the mountains of Serra da Estrela, which is the highest point of Portugal, and they
That's
have.
where they filmed On Her Majesty's Secret Service with George Lazenby and James Bond.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it's okay. I know. That's where the casino is. Sorry, carry on.
No, but they have a very long tradition of working with wool over there, and so there's this couple from Lisbon who went there because they were like centenary factories around that area, and they were all abandoned, and during the financial crisis, but during the 80s they all went bankrupt, and but they managed to buy the looms for 2 or 3 different factories, and fix them, and create a new factory, and they managed to adapt those looms to, which are amazing. They're like old trains. It's amazing how they work, and the specificity of the fabrics they can do with that, very very old school. But apart from that, they put together an archive of fabrics with 100 years old, which were like for 2 years on the rain and outside. So they put all that archive together, where you can see like amazing stuff, like all kind of patterns, but textures also, and it's very very rich and inspiring archive they have there. So we started from that, developed some fabrics there, and it's amazing because when you see like old pictures, like from the 40s or the 30s, you tend to imagine that people would dress in a very boring way, because all the pictures you see is mostly black and white. but
Right. Yeah.
but you realize like the amazing colors they were wearing, like electric blues and yellows and stuff.
Oh,
So
wow.
and in fact our first collection really translated a little bit of that approach they had in the past. People say, wow, what a funky color, but in fact we were
Huh.
just replicating like
Oh,
very
that's fascinating.
very old. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
was
that's
was good.
it's a shame for all of the people in the 30s and 40s. The photos were literally not doing them justice because they
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah,
show how great the
yeah.
colors were that they were wearing. Well, that
Yeah, that's for
probably
sure.
brings me on to the website that I had a nose around, and I gotta say I fell in love with the website because I like websites that go where you want them to go, so you kind of navigate and you don't get lost down wormholes or rabbit holes, and it's not all brick a blocker. It does feel like there's been a little bit of love and care gone into it, and you also have like different varieties of models, like old models, seasoned veterans, I'd like to say, modeling these clothes, making it look great for anybody of any age to wear them. Was that
Yeah,
must have been purposeful, right? That must have been by design.
yeah, that's our main idea. We wanted the brand to be very transversal in terms of final public. You know, we really wanted to like 18-year-old kid to wear it, but also a 80-year-old look look good and be proud and have some choice of pieces to wear, which happens, which we and that makes us really happen. Sometimes we manage to see like people with 80, 70, 80, 90 years old buying like a proper Shetland jumper, or or like the pleated trousers. People like they like to dress properly, but they maybe they're British or something, but they don't expect to see something in a shop like our shops, and that's really
Right.
really really good to us.
What's the
And
mood like in your shop, Jose? So you do have bricks and mortar as well. It's not just online. Does the shop reflect what you might see online as well? Is there like a through line that connects the bricks and mortar
yeah,
to the
yeah, yeah.
e-commerce?
The shop is the first shop we opened. It's here in Ribeira, in Porto downtown by the river, and it's a centenary pharmacy, so no old pharmacy, and
Oh,
we managed to keep it exactly as it was, but also with some elements inside. We hired this fisherman from a little fisherman village next to Porto to do the wardrobes with the fishing techniques, with the nets and stuff. So it's with they did like the iron structure, like they do
like the
the
jumpers.
yeah, no, to
Oh,
catch
iron. Sorry, iron structures.
yeah, like the how do you say, to catch the fish, yeah. So
Yeah, the net. Yeah,
they put these cages like under, so
yeah.
they are very similar, the wardrobes they did by hand and stuff. So the like the layers we have, it's very funky. It's a mix of a fish market with but then with all the fabrics and the textures, it makes a very special, I think, shopping experience. And
Is
then
that
we
where you
open.
work?
Yeah, no, we have an office too.
Mhm.
That at the beginning we were working there. It was our first office.
Right.
uh, but then it was such a beautiful place that we thought it would make sense to open to the public,
Right.
and which we did. But we were still working there at the same time, which was a little bit confused at the beginning, because people would go there. We were working on our computers. People would look at us and say, "Oh, is this a shop?" It said, "Hey, you should please come in." And so we decided at some point to make it a shop only, and so we moved the office to another place. Yeah.
Okay.
Now
Uh,
it's only a shop.
And the plan is to have some more shops, maybe
Yeah, we have another one
internationally.
in Lisbon. Yeah, we
Hmm.
have another one in Lisbon, and we are opening a new one in shop here in Porto, but by the ocean. Yeah, and our in the near future, our plans is to open one or two more shops, but abroad. Yeah.
And Jose, question for you, just off the top of my head, just thought about this. I've had quite a few founders and designers on the podcast before, and I find a lot of their brands make their clothes out of the factories in Portugal, whether it's shoes or whether it's loungewear, Riviera
Yeah,
wear. Have you found that the factories are getting inundated or maybe saturated? Perhaps there's a lot of people, not just in Portugal, looking to get clothes made there, but outside of Portugal as well.
I wouldn't say saturated, but because there are a lot of shops, new factories opening,
Mm,
which is good. Of course it's good for the economy and for the industry, which was really rich like during the 80s,
mhm,
but during the late 80s and the 90s, it all went in a pretty bad way. And but the tradition was there, so people started to again returning from the east and northern African stuff back to Portugal because it's easy to travel here first, and then like if you live in England or in France or whatever, Italy, it's very easy to. It's 2 hours in a plane, so it's easy.
uh-huh.
And then pretty much everybody speaks English. Like the approach, commercial approach, is very good and easy. So all of a sudden it started growing again. Of course, the commercial area with people like from new generations and returning to Portugal speaking English and French properly. So I think it helped. It helped a lot. Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, because I often, it's pretty much every other designer that comes on the show will talk about the factories over there. So it does feel like it's the hub of, especially startup brands. Maybe the factories can do limited runs or perhaps smaller runs for cheaper than they can do over here in the UK.
No, actually, there's a lot of big brands like more luxury brands working here, but they of course they do some parts of their collection. Like for instance, they don't do all the jersey, but they
Mm.
do like sections of their jersey
Yeah,
collection.
like Sunspell would do a collection over
Yeah,
there and then some stuff over here as well. Yeah, that's
Sunspell,
true.
Universal Works. I
Mm.
mean, YMC. I mean, there's so many. You know,
Yeah.
our
All of you
legacy.
all of your competitors.
Yeah, and friends, most of them,
Yeah.
competitors and friends. Yeah.
And so have we got any plans to expand La Paz clothing over to here in the UK, Jose? Maybe concessions and Selfridges, John Lewis. Have you got plans for any bricks and mortar here?
We are working currently working with John Lewis and Mr. Porter and some I know other big players, but our main focus is we have a great agent in for the UK, which is Brand Progression, and besides being a friend, it's someone. Mark Batiste is someone I know from for 20 years now, and he helped us a lot in the beginning because when we started the collection, the first collection, uh, we didn't have nothing to show to the trade shows, So they would ask,
Right.
do you have a lookbook? Do you have something? And when we didn't, so I contact Mark and said, oh, I know you guys, you have good taste, so you are more than welcome to come. He was organizing Jacket Required at the time. It would be like the first season of Jacket Required, and so he invited us, and we went in, and then like a few seasons after, he became our agent, and I mean, I don't know if you know him, but he's a very very well
Mark Baptiste.
collection, and the lovely Mark Batista.
Hmm.
And he had some projects, some retail projects like Number Six and stuff. So he was really helpful he's like I would say our godfather in the
Hmm.
in the in the UK, that's for sure. And so we are in very good hands. And the business is growing, and I think in very good shops and projects. But the thing is, we started with independent shops, and we I mean we are no rush of growing, or not much expectations in turning La Paz in a big business, because me and Andre, we love what we do, and we really want to keep doing this in a slow pace, like
Mm.
that's what we like to do in our daily basis. So, and I think the independent retailers are the ones who can keep this real, like in a very
Yeah.
palpable way. Of course, I mean, this is a business, and we need to grow up, and but we always ask them first what do they think, and if it will eventually affect their own business. Where we have now independent retailers who are working with us for many years, for some of them 8-10 years. But at the end, I think the British chains with whom we are working with are really respectful of that spirit, and they don't explore the brand in a bad way. So I think we are doing it right. To be honest with you, I think
Yeah.
it's you know
Well, yeah. I mean, you're taking your time and you're making sure that, I guess, the product's good, looking good, and everything's
yeah
coming from a genuine place rather than looking to cookie cutter stuff and making a quick buck.
yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
I would say, I mean, so I used to work in an independent fashion store, and what I'd really like would be the upcoming brands that perhaps people hadn't heard of. I mean, I'm not saying you're up and coming. You've got a few shops everywhere now, so you're pretty well on your way. But I would always like telling somebody or a customer a little nugget about the brand, like a little uh, something that would inspire them to buy the piece. Maybe a story from the journey of the founders, like why they founded the brand, or the
Hmm.
relationship between the friends. So, like between you and Andre, what would you what would the pitch be, I suppose, if I was to say, look, oh, you got to try La Paz
Me and
clothing?
Andre, we are friends for many years. In fact, my father was a good friend of Andre's mother, so we know each other for a long time. We never had plans to do something together because Andrea was working. Andrea's mother, she had a distribution company here in Porto, mostly
Mm,
of Italian brands. And Andrea, he had a shop, and I had a shop before too.
right. Okay.
But we 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 both like clothes and everything around that. But all of a sudden, I was working more in advertising. I worked 6 years on the National Theatre here in the communications area, and Andre was working his mother's company too. But all of a sudden, we felt like I felt like having a new project would be interesting apart from the advertising and the communications. Andre wanted to give a different shift to his shop because he had a shop in here in Porto, but he was living in London. So we wanted to do like something different with the shop, and that's when we started to think about distributing some other brands here. And as I told you in the beginning, so the economy was really low, and we said, well, let's try to do the other way around. I mean, we like this. Let's try to put the collection together with the things we like, and we would wear, and like, but something transversal, like something like anyone can use, like not that much into fashion, but more into clothing. It was
Mm,
our main idea. So the idea of that model that you were showing me on the website was pretty much to to pass that idea through that message. Like
gotcha.
if this guy is 73 years old now, if he can wear this and look cool on this, I mean, all
That's
the
the one.
ones like you know,
Yeah.
and
Well,
yeah,
that's
we
that's a great
want
key
to.
message to have, because I mean, I would often have um, older gentlemen come into the shop and just say, "Oh, this looks far too young for me," and then they would perhaps moonwalk out of my shop. But having some pictures of older gentlemen wearing this clothes as well as younger gentlemen would convince them. It's almost like they have the trust then, they feel like they're
Yeah,
not taking a chance.
and he's our model for since we started.
Mm.
We are working with him in all the. He sells fish nets on the street markets, and he's a very humble and nice guy. But he's
Oh, I love that.
working with us since the very beginning, and people now recognize us in the city. In fact, Mario Testino did an editorial shooting with Gigi Hadid, and the production called us to see if they could include this guy because he has
Oh, that's
such a
terrific.
strong face and character
Yeah.
that.
Well, I mean,
Which they did.
That's fantastic. Well, you got to head over to the website. Give the website a shout out, please, Jose. Where can people find you?
The website is lapaz.pt, and our Instagram is lapaz diary.
La Paz Diary. And we'll put all the links over on the show notes over at Menswear Style as well, so people can find out where to go. But thanks for joining us, Jose. Really enjoyed
Thank you
talking
so
to
much
you.
for the invitation. It's very
Thank
kind.
you. Thank you for walking us through the brand. Best of luck. I'm in love with the clothes. I'm in love with the website. So we'll certainly want to pop in next time I'm in your neck of the woods. But until next time.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
Bye bye.